Hey guys, what's up? And I'm back here with another Pro-Am. This one is a doozy. We're starting here like around the end of the first quarter, but uh, you can see it's pretty tight still, so it is very much anyone's game at this point as well. In the at the end of the first here, we're actually 1 point behind. So, but this is a crazy one because um, they got on their team. This is a full 5-on-5, by the way, and on their team they have two 92s, which one of them I'm up against, and a 95, which is the guy that my buddy North Philly there, he's guarding at the shooting guard. And we have our full squad here, and they have their full squad. This is a really high level game. At the center, we got North Philly's 14-year-old nephew, so he's a post-scoring rim protector is his archetype. Philly has a shot maker, so basically a playmaking shot creator. And I'm obviously on my rebounding shot creator here, my 6'10", and I'm at the small forward. We have at our center we have our other big man. So we have basically two centers in this game, and it is Lou, and he's Lou Sanis, and he's a stretch. And then at the point guard we got King Murphy, who is a slashing playmaker. So so this is what you'd kind of describe as a defensive team. A lot of what we're trying to do is get our guards out on the break. So we got to get, basically the bigs are there for like defensive stops, and then we have guards on the break, and we have a stretch big in case we need to do some half court sets. And obviously I'm a shot creator, so I can help out with that as well. And Philly also, being a shot maker, can do a lot of ISO. And yeah, we got, this is a great game. For anybody who wants to see some good Pro-Am action, this is for sure the game that you want to watch. And this is the last game in a string of about 5 wins that we had with basically this squad, or very similar to this squad. Maybe there was like a difference of like one player. I think Lou joined us after the second game, so he had 3 games with us, and everyone else pretty much played the full 5. So Murphy and Laidback, who's Philly's nephew, and Philly and myself, we all played basically the whole 5 games, and we won every game basically. We didn't lose that night. And that's Laidback. That's Philly's nephew. He's the post-scoring rim protector. I don't remember exactly what archetypes we were facing in this game, but I do know that they were good, and they were putting up a fight throughout the whole game. This was a character win, really. It shows that, like, you don't need to have the better overalls on your team. Like, you don't need to have like the better builds on your team. You just need to have players who are willing to play together and stick with it, and just play a good team game of ball, and like play your role basically, like and help each other out, kind of. It's like I said, this is a good example of what a defensive team, like a good defensive team, or like, this is kind of like a two-way team. This is not purely a defensive team, but like it is kind of like a more leaning on like the defensive build, sort of, rather than the offensive builds. There's kind of like gradients of like what you would call a defensive or offensive team. So there's like a whole spectrum of like in-betweens, and basically this is it. But this is what you would consider to be like a defensive team. You'd consider this more a defensive team than an offensive team for sure. And one of the main things to have on a defensive team is you got to have like a good defensive big. Like you need to have a guy who can protect at the rim, and he needs to be able to like guard the most dominant bigs, like the most dominant inside scoring bigs inside. So that can be kind of hard to do, but if you have like a defensive archetype, it makes it easier, obviously, because you get those badges, and you also get like the athleticism to be able to like go up with the guy. You'll have decent vertical as well for a big man. So yeah, that's one of the fundamental things, and we have that in this one. Philly's nephew he's a defensive big, so that's good for us, and that's like one of the first things you need on like a good defensive team. And then the other thing you need on like a defensive team is you need guys who can score in transition, and so like you're gonna want to have guys with one man fast break badges. So shot creators will have it, like slashers will have it usually as well, and then I think playmakers also get it. So basically you want like those specific builds at your guard spot. So like any kind of mix between like slasher, shot creator, or playmaker. And the playmaker mainly because you get the speed with the ball. So if you get the ball like at the half court line, you can still like gun it all the way to the rim and basically beat the defense there. The shot creator, really, with a shot creator, you don't need to go all the way. You just need to like be able to find open space and pull up in the mid range, and that's good enough because the shot creator gets difficult shots badge, which will allow you to like hit those pull ups really easily. So and then yeah, the slasher you want to go right to the rim as fast as you can, and literally you only want to get the ball like around the free throw line, ideally, because you do want to have it like to like generate that head of steam that you need to like get those nice dunk and layup animations, but you don't want to like be slowed down by having the ball. So you don't want to like get it like if you get in it at like the opposite 3-point line, yeah, you're going to be slowing down with the ball, and then guys are going to get back on you. So you really have to have guys that are willing to pass to you like as you're running down the court if you're a slasher. But yeah, Murphy in this game, like I said, he's a slashing playmaker, so he's got that speed with the ball, so he doesn't have that problem. And then obviously myself and Philly, we both have pretty like decent speed with the ball, and then not only that, but like we can shoot it. So yeah, that's the main thing, is like if you can pull up for a jumper as a shot creator, like you don't need to go all the way to the rim. Like you can go all the way to the rim because the shot creator finishes inside very well, but really as long as you get the 2 points, it really doesn't matter how you do it. Like, and it's better to do it, in my opinion, with a shot creator, just taking like pull-up jumpers from the mid-range. You want to still like try to get as close as you can, but like not close enough that you're gonna like turn it into like a layup or floater. I mean, you could go with the floater if it's uncontested, but the thing is, like, guys will go up with you if they see the floater, and it might make it harder to hit. But yeah, ideally you do just want to like pull up jumper from the mid-range on the break, especially if you got like a guy back there. If you're all alone, go ahead, go all the way to the rim, but for the most part, like I said, you really just need to get in the mid-range and just open fire. So this was a different look for us from what we were used to in 2K17. Me and Philly had we were basically reversed roles in 2K17. So I had a guard and he had a small forward. So now I have the forward and he has the guard. So it's a little bit of a different look, but we adjusted to it really well, actually. And that's just a testament to, you know, like how good like he is as a player, North Philly, that he could make the adjustment going from a forward to being a like a point guard, shooting guard kind of player, and like an ISO point guard, shooting guard player, which is, it's not easy to play as an ISO guard. There's a lot of good guards out there, and if you can't consistently make it through defenses, then you're gonna have trouble as a guard. But he made a really good adjustment, or he made the adjustment quite seamlessly almost, and yeah, our combination that we had in this game was just absolutely amazing. The fact that we can go toe to toe with a team like this, like these guys, I mean, look at this, they were coordinated as well. Like, we weren't the only coordinated team in this game for sure. Like, they were coordinated as well. Um, and yeah, and these are like some of the most fun games to be a part of, when you have two good teams, like two teams who are being serious. Nobody's leaving the game. Nobody's like trolling their teammates. Everybody is basically playing very competitively. These are fun games to be a part of, because like, really it tests how good you are as a player. Not only that, it also tests how good you are as a team. Like, because like I said before, I mean, you can't win anything if you don't have your teammates working with you and working together. So like, really everybody needs to be on the same page, uh, doing what's necessary to win. And that's why I like playing with these guys, because like, there's no egos with us. Like, we pass the ball, and whatever is gonna get us the win, that's what we're gonna do. And nobody's complaining. Everybody's like cool with each other. There's no like friction between teammates. There's no like ball dominance either. It's all just, good team ball, that's the way that you want to play every game. And then another thing I think is really important is communication. Like, um, we were we knew what kind of team we were, and we knew what kind of team we were playing against. So uh, we we created our strategies on the fly, sort of like based on that knowledge, right? Like, what we needed to do, like what we needed guys to do, right? And like, you need that. You need good communication. Um, like I explained to them from the start. I'm like, yeah, we're a defensive team. Like, our whole thing is getting stops and runouts and transition, and that's what we did. Um, and yeah, like, when people know what their job is, right, they're gonna do it. Like, Philly was really good at like leaking out all the time, and just already being down the floor, so that the pass was easy. So it's not like passing to him while he's on the run. He's already standing there in the restricted area, like, you know, ready for the pass and not on the run, right? So, like, these are the kinds of things that like guys need to know, right? For sure. And because otherwise, like, he might be like, down low trying to grab rebounds, and we have guys who are already down there trying to grab rebounds. And yeah, you see our stretch hit a nice three there for us. Yeah, and like, that's the kind of like, see, like, you always gotta like switch it up as well. You can't, you have to attack from all sides, and uh, you can't just be like a one-trick pony. You have to be able to do like a lot of different things, and you have to hustle for the ball. You have to like constantly just be doing the right thing. And not only that, you have to stay disciplined. You can't like be reaching all the time and like fouling guys, and uh, like, you can't jump every time that they're going up inside the paint. Like, sometimes you just have to stand there and keep your hands up, use the stick. Murphy jumped there, but like, everybody's gonna make mistakes, and everybody's like, guys are trying to beat you on the other side there. Like, these guys are they've gotten to like 92 and 95 because they know how to beat guys. They know how to beat defenses. They know how to break you down, right? Uh, so like you got to be aware that they're gonna throw tricks at you. They're gonna throw fakes at you, and you can't bite. You have to be disciplined with this game. So yeah, now we're about a little over halfway through the third here, and we've got a 5-point lead now, and we've managed to force a lot of like a few turnovers right like up to this point. Um, and yeah, at this point we're just trying to keep on the pressure. But like with a good team, you can't like rest on a lead like this. You can't rest on a 7-point lead because uh, literally if it's within 10, like comebacks can be made within like a minute of the game ending. So you got to be wary. You have to be very wary. And really, you just have to stick with it. You have to keep playing good. You can't let up. And see, and they hit a 3 there, and so they brought it back within 4, which is, like I said, like there can be huge swings sometimes in this game. Yeah, and one of the most important things that most every team should consider is, I mean, you should have good guards on your team. Like your ball handlers need to be smart. They need to know like how to make plays. They need to know how to like handle the ball without turning it over. They need to know how to make good decisions basically for the team because they're the ones who are touching the ball first. So if you have good guards on your team, that's going to carry you a long way for sure. Then if you don't, like really you do want your guards to be some like the better players on your team, and just basically be solid. Like at the very least, like you should a guard should always be like solid. Like they shouldn't be the ones dragging your team down. Uh, if your point guard is like the guy who's dragging your team down, there's a very good chance that you're gonna lose that game, unless like the rest of the team is like really really superstar. Like you could lose on that alone. Like if your point guard just doesn't know what to do, um, or like maybe he's new to the game or something. He's very predictable. Like that's one of the key things about like new players, and this is one of the reasons that they usually are not very good, is because when you start playing this game, you think about you're trying to think about what are good basketball fundamentals. Well, what good basketball fundamentals are is like they're predictable. Okay, so like if you do like if you do the same thing over and over again, like guys are gonna know how to stop it. They're gonna know what to do against it, and that's generally how it is with this game, because guys are looking for guys who know the generally accepted good fundamental basketball. Um, that's like I do it as well. Like I'm looking for like guys trying to make uh, good passes to like a roller or something like in the lane. Like these are things uh, like common knowledge, right? Like if things are common knowledge, they're easier to exploit because newer players for sure are going to like resort to those things, right? Like um yeah, so, and that's always going to be the case with uh when you face experienced players in this game. Like they're going to take away the obvious. They're going to take away like the basic easy play. That's how it is, right? So you're never gonna get easy buckets in this game. You have to be like, especially against good players, you have to be solid. You have to know like you have to have different tricks and tools to help you succeed. Like you can't just be like one way. Like you can't just only use one method of scoring because they're gonna just take that away from you. And that's why I said, like I said before, um, like pure slashers or like two-way slashers or whatever, right? Like it's very easy for me to stop them because all I need to do is stand on the edge of the paint and make sure that he's not coming in. And literally, they just can never get into the paint, so they can't score if they can't get into the paint, right? And yeah, that so like being too predictable that's like one of the biggest downfalls of like new players and like inexperienced players is like I said, like you're being too predictable. Uh, like the pure slasher or like any player whose only method of scoring is inside the paint or like in the restricted area. Um, at that point, you might as well just hang out on the 3 point line and act as like a pylon that passes the ball, basically. Like because literally that's what you become when you're facing guys like me. Because I'm not gonna let you in the paint to score, so you better just like post up on the 3 point line and pass the ball. And like basically, you're taking away a man on offense for your team, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, in a way, I don't know. Like maybe I'm being too hard on like slashers or inside scorers, but like because like they I've seen some pretty good ones, to be honest with you. Like I've seen guys who have been able to make slashers work, right? And I've seen guys who've been able to make like two-way slashers work, but uh, it's not a build for everyone. This is the thing, right? Like if you don't know how to play with it, it's not going to be very good. And like if you do know how to play with it, of course you can make it work. You can make anything work in this game if you know how to play with it. Um, but I'm just saying, like like for like the average level player, who is for the most part pretty predictable, like because they're doing things that you know, like I said, is just considered good fundamental basketball. Um, a slasher is not necessarily the way to go. I really do think you want to have some way of scoring uh, with a shot. Like you want to be able to shoot the ball. Um, you don't want to be, like I said, again, too one-dimensional. You don't want to be just like, I mean, I guess a pure sharpshooter is pretty broken in this game. Like one of the things about pure sharpshooters is they can shoot through shot contests. So like, the guy would be right up on him, have the hand up and everything. He just drains it in his face. But I mean, that's if you hit that, that's cool and everything. Like, if you win with that, that's cool. But I've seen it where guys will do that, like in the first half of the game, and then the second half of the game, they're missing wide open. So it's yeah, it really does come down to situation and like full team matchups because it's not gonna be always uh, that you're gonna be like torching guys with from the 3 point line. Uh, like if you're facing like those are the kind of tactics that they will work against players who are inexperienced or just don't know how to play very well. So like those tactics will work against those people, but like I said, there's different levels of play, and this is this is a game where it's like uh, everyone in the game knows what they're doing. So you couldn't get away with that kind of strategy in this game. So we're about 1 minute left in this fourth quarter here, and oh, big man gets a nice roll. That's Philly's nephew there, and he really does take us the rest of the way in this game. We this one came down to the wire literally, and I think they get a bucket before the end here, and then we get the last bucket. But yeah, this was a really great game. This is a whole lot of fun to be a part of, and yeah, it's just a good taste of what this is like maybe not like the highest level competitive pro-am, but like this is like pretty high level. I don't think there would be much of a skill gap between what you see in this game and like what you see in you know like a team game than with like two elite teams. It would be very similar to like a game like this if you had like two teams with that are built like the way that these two teams are. So yeah, so he whiffs on that, and now we have a chance to take the lead with 6.1 seconds left, so we call timeout here. And yeah, and then he gets the dunk. So that was a clutch win. That was a clutch play by on the end of the inbounder, as well as laid back as well. So this was a great game. Like I said, it was really fun to be a part of this, and that was the end here. And I really hope you like this game, because I really like this game. Like I said, it was fun to play, it was fun to watch, and yeah, it's just really tight game, and with good players all around, nobody left. This is the kind of game that you want to be a part of more often than not. And you see Laid Back gets the player of the game for his heroics at the end there. Not just his heroics at the end, he was dominant. I mean, look at that, 30 points, 5 rebounds, 72% field goal percentage. Like, he played a good game. Kid did well. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and I'm gonna bring out more hopefully, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again. Peace.